Welcome back. Today we have the usual fare in the way of an interesting word. We'll give our regards to a political figure. We'll talk about a song, and we have a quote. So grab your favorite cuppa. Don't slosh that around too much. Turn up the sound, but not too much. And let's have a look. Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for April 4th. April 4th is the 94th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 95th in leap years, with 271 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is meretricious. Meretricious is an adjective that means attractive in a cheap, flashy, or deceitful way, superficially appealing, but lacking real worth. For example, the show's glitzy production values couldn't hide its meretricious plot, or meretricious souvenirs for the tourist trade, or beneath its glittering surface the offer was nothing more than a meretricious promise, all sparkle, no substance. We can also see the root from which this word is composed in the words merit and merchant, but meretricious took a different path. The word meretricious comes to us from Latin, where it referred to a particular type of individual, usually female, who typically conducts a certain type of business. Flashy or alluring in a cheap, superficial, or deceptive way, something that looks attractive but has no real value or integrity. First known use of the word meretricious is in the 1600s. Meretricious. The word meretricious was suggested by Odyssey viewer at Easy9. Thanks, Easy9. Glad to have this word now because I frequently see people, whether politicians or social media influencers, who are all glitter and no substance, or, as we might say in Texas, all hat and no cattle. Good to have a word for it, meretricious. And with that, we spoke earlier in the year, back on February 9th, about U.S. President William Henry Harrison. He'd become the 9th U.S. president, and there are several other notable facts about him. When he was elected, he gave the longest inaugural speech on record at 1 hour and 45 minutes on a very cold day, and he caught a cold, which then developed into pneumonia. This proved fatal for him, and he died on April 4th, 1841, at the age of 68. My daughter introduced me to the music of John Mayer back in the early 2000s with his first album, Room for Squares. And while I haven't exactly been a devout follower of his musical career, I tune in every once in a while and usually enjoy what I hear. Room for Squares came out in 2001, and I kept up with Heavier Things in 2003 and Continuum in 2006, and today I'd like to talk about the song In Repair from the Continuum album. In Repair was not released as a single, and I couldn't find much more than a mention of it in my usual research sources, but I did find a video that John Mayer made about the process that resulted in the song In Repair. The song came out of a studio session where John went into the studio with absolutely nothing prepared, and two of his favorite musicians in the world, and on his own dime, without even an idea of what he was going to do. It turned out to be the brainstorming session of brainstorming sessions. They started by hitting some licks, improvising some music. Once they had some sounds down, John said he was going to go to his office, and the camera crew couldn't come because it was porcelain. He took a pad and a pen with him and started writing. Then they put it all together, and the finished product was the song we know as In Repair. They went from zero to a finished song in a day. It was a long day, but a day. Sometimes, as the meme says, it do be like that. As someone who has processed difficult times in the past, I could relate to the sentiment of that song, and I particularly love the lines, "And now I'm walking in a park. All the birds, they dance below me. and what I take to be kind of an awakening to hopefulness after a dark and difficult time. He wraps up the song with several repeats of the line, "I'm in repair, I'm not together, but I'm getting there," continuing that hopeful notion. And we're not talking about the kind of over-the-top hope that might not really happen, but more of a steady Eddie, practical hope that things really will get better. Maybe not perfect, but what is perfection anyway? As one of my friends reminded me recently, happiness is an inside job. Sometimes it takes some effort to get there, but it is certainly doable. In Repair by John Mayer, link in the description, and I've also included a link to that video that I mentioned. If you're a fan of John Mayer, or if you're a creative who has ever struggled with the creative process, you might enjoy that video. I know, it surprised me too. Today's quote is from that 9th U.S. President, William Henry Harrison. He made several quotable statements. A lot of them were political. Gee, I wonder why. But there is something he said that I think is pretty universal. And that is, times change, and we change with them. William Henry Harrison. Now remember, we have reruns on the weekends, although I'll dress them up a little bit, bring them up to date, and we'll have a fresh new episode on Monday. Alrighty, y'all take care. Be good to each other. I'll see you next time. Welcome back. Do I want the bricks or do I want something else? Where'd it go? Okay, well, it's going to be bricks for now. Oh, let's have some bricks here. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoyed this series, you can check out the playlists in the description. You can find me on BitChute, Facebook, Odyssey, Rumble, YouTube, and X, as well as on a blog page called No Really. All those links are in the description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.